Hi again, that's the time for another video, and I wanted to record to you such a topic about the benefits of the north, the place where we live. But it's so hilarious because this spring is so weird and it's actually the end of May, and we still have frost at night. For example, today when I woke up and went outside, I saw like ice on the leaves. And it's weird because it's just the end of May and June, just summer, will be next week. No, anyway, just let's talk about the advantages. And first one, as you see, the climate. It can be a disadvantage as well, as I have mentioned before, but at the same time, it's a blessing because for those who don't like heat, and however the climate is changing, it's becoming warmer, and the previous summer was the hottest summer in Karelia, and but obviously I believe this summer will not be the hottest. But anyway, we can still grow the same vegetables that are grown everywhere, although we must build greenhouses. But for example, no, three for a normal family will be enough, and there are some vegetables that can grow outside, like cabbage, for example, and beetroot and so on. So you need only greenhouses for such warm likers as cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, surely. But honestly, we grow almost the same amount of vegetables as you can grow in the, for example, in the middle Russia. So the cold, it's not the thing, and it's changing. So it's becoming warmer, and for us, the global warming is a positive change in this case. Okay, when we are thinking about King's domains and our personal heaven on this earth, of course, more people, mostly, yes, people think about the south, and especially if you got used to such climate, of course, you should stay and you should choose somewhere there. But for me, it was quite shocking to find out that even in the Russian south, you are hardly ever have snow. You have, but it's just like it's gonna melt, and it's impossible to ski, for example. And as I'm a ski lover, the winter without snow means nothing to me. So for me, the south was not the choice, because I didn't want to go out to the mountains and buy ski passes just to ski. No way. So you are not, I mean that you're not alone who thinks about a personal heaven, so it should be somewhere in the south, and that's why there are a lot of people. It's quite densely populated, and even in Russia it became such a trend to move to the south, and the southern cities are, no, I would say, blossoming. And it's hard to find land, first of all, and it's quite expensive. And if you don't like people, south won't be your choice. So the north, because we don't have surely Karelia, I don't know how to tell it, but we don't have a lot of people here, and we are able to buy not one hectare, but even 5 hectares, or we have 9 hectares of land. So it's quite a lot, and we don't have so many people. The land is relatively cheap, and I cannot say that you've got abundance of choices, but anyway, it's much easier to choose land here. So that's why that might be a good point for you, for your consideration as well. Okay, as my husband traveled a lot and he visited a lot of King's domains in the south as well, the problem is the water, and the first thing you should think about is water, because you'll need it every day. And in the south it's particularly a problem, because the land with water is already taken and occupied. So the thing is also the heavy agriculture that spoiled the nature a lot, and there are the problems with water as well, because all these chemicals, fertilizers, they go deep into soil. And what I truly appreciate about Karelia is the unspoiled nature, because this land has never been a point of agriculture, because it's kind of the territory of dangerous agriculture. So it was mostly for cattle, animals, and so on. And that's why the land here is pure. So, for example, I can surely drink water from our lake, for example. And the forest, there are a lot of forests, and I see that these forests are kind of untouched. For example, if I compare the forest where I used to live, then it's the forest where you would notice the presence of people. It's also because where I used to live, we've got more population, and of course, a lot of people would come just to relax and unwind. So, as for water, yes, it's clean, fresh, and the thing is that there is even a Karelian saying that a village without a lake or without a river, it's a bad village, and that's it, because they've got a lot of rivers, small ponds, and springs, so on. Even in our village, we've got a spring, and there are several wells, and so on. But however, it doesn't mean that you live in Karelia that you won't have any problems with water. It depends, because, for example, one of our neighbors, he decided to build his king's domain on the mountain, and here he doesn't have much water, honestly, so he had to drill quite a deep well. But for us, for example, that's not a problem, the water, because we've got quite a lot. Okay, what I personally like about Karelia, that's a land for lazy people, because I'm subscribed to several king's domains, and I see that already in February, March, or they start working and start doing something, and we've got just snow everywhere. And so for us, March is not the time to work, surely, and April maybe sometimes, but just some kind of lazy activities. May, yes, that's when the season starts, and in south it starts much earlier. So I see that people already growing something when we are just walking around and still enjoying. There's early signs of spring, so to say. So we've got only 3 months of productive work: May, June, July. August is already, it's just time for harvesting, and no, you cannot do much a lot. No, okay, just August for me personally, it's already just gather vegetables, and when you don't have to, where you don't have to take much care of them. So, lazy people prefer the north, because you don't have to walk so much, and at the same time, we have the same. Okay, maybe we don't have such peaches or pineapples or whatever, but all the basic vegetables and fruits we've got, and maybe they would be smaller in size, honestly, yes, not so, I know, huge like in the south, but that's enough for us, it doesn't mean that they're worse in taste and so on, but you've got to think about maybe special types of like northern I don't know, trees and so on, just so it won't be so harmful for them to when you plant them here. And that's why I believe it's quite easy to live here. Okay, and although the climate might be, honestly, it might be quite harsh here, the nature, the nature compensates it. So we've got so many mushrooms and different kinds of berries here. So even if, I don't know, the summer is like nothing, it's so cold, so nothing grows, the land, the forest is always very rich, berries, I don't know, and mushrooms. For example, in the middle Russia, we don't have such a rich choice, and here it just means, I don't know, 50 minutes from your king's domain, and already you can collect mushrooms and everything. So my parents were, when they came here first in Karelia, they were quite shocked that before how it used to be, then if we want to have some mushrooms, yes, it takes 2 hours to go to the forest, and you need to do it early in the morning in order to be the first. But here, just I take my son, take a bucket, and just 30 minutes, and of course 1 or 2 buckets of mushrooms. So even these hardships of climate are compensated surely enough by by nature, and all these berries. Of course, the latest cranberry is quite for me sour, but even if you don't have choice, you don't plant anything. That's you will not die. I mean. Okay, and we've got insects, or honestly, yes, mosquitoes and flies. But as for gardening, we don't have such harming or destroying insects. For example, we can surely grow potatoes without any protection. Or yes, we've got some other insects, but anyway, they're not so, I don't know, harmful as I remember even in Middle Russia, for example. If my mother doesn't use anything, it just means that her crop will be eaten. Here, just quite relaxing again, maybe because it's again wasn't so much damaged, the nature wasn't so much damaged, and it's kind of balanced here. And so it looks like it's just more natural there, as the less people live here. We don't have so much how to say, industry here, so I believe the air here is, no, it's always smells fresh, you mean in the countryside, but that's great. Of course, as I mentioned, there are huge disadvantages as well, but now I feel that it's quite normal to live here, and surely people uh, shouldn't be afraid to live here just because of the climate and the thing. It's almost like Arctic zone. No, it isn't. We live in the south of Karelia, and even only in the north. Karelia is quite a big territory. In the north, yes, feels like the north, but I would say that it's normal and it's manageable to live here. So you're very welcome to discover it, and see you next time. Thank you.